You ever wonder if you had relatives that served in the Revolutionary or the Civil War? Do you want to hear stories about the founding mothers of our country? Well, Jennifer Davis and Susan Kaufman are here to tell us about two upcoming events at the Peoria Public Library that will help you do just that. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. You know, I often have this conversation with my friends, but I'm sure you all can relate. Have you ever seen someone or know someone meet a relative and then so much about them makes sense? Like it all makes sense. That's where you get it from.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens to Susan on a daily basis.
Yes, there's plenty of times where, yep, that's where it came from, all the genetics and everything passed down through family history, yes.
Yeah, and now, although the timelines are much closer than what you guys are talking about, I do think it's interesting that you're having this family history event. So what exactly can people expect?
So on Saturday at the Lakeview Branch Library, we're having a free event, and so if you ever thought about you had military family members, and a lot of us do have military history in our family, we're offering 4 sessions free. One session on Revolutionary War ancestor research, one on World War I ancestor research, and then also compiling a service military record, which is really important when you do family history. And then if you've ever gotten stuck on, I really should write my family history or compiling, our presenter also is a publisher and a writer. So our 4th session is going to be on how to organize a question and answer session, pick his brain.
So tell us about this presenter that's going to come in.
So our presenter is Craig Scott. He is a professional genealogical researcher and also, like I mentioned, a publisher and writer of family history. He is a nationally recognized National Archives military researcher. So he is one of the best for a free presentation. You should come out.
We love free, don't we? We love free.
Free starting at 10:15 at the Lakeview Branch Library.
That's perfect.
This Saturday.
This Saturday. So really quickly, why would you say that it's so important for people to learn their roots to this extent? What impact can it have on a person having that type of knowledge of
It gives you a sense of self and a sense of place and a sense of history, and then to realize what your family has gone through, and might also make you understand, like you said, oh, that's where I got that. So sure, yes.
And you know, there's so much happening at the library. We cannot forget summer reading. Education does not stop when you're not in school. So how's things going with that?
So summer reading ends on Saturday.
Oh, it's almost
officially
over.
ends. Oh, well, you know, read all the time. Read all the time.
Of course.
But we want you to turn in your bingo cards, pick up your prizes, pick up your party passes, because our parties are next week for our summer readers.
That's quite the reward. All of that summer reading, you get to party and keep on reading because it doesn't stop.
And we have another program that's kind of related to Susan's. The Founding Mothers program, which is, these 2 programs are our last America250 programs. And this one is going to be by historian Laura Keyes. And we always hear about the founding fathers, right? Well, she has done a lot of research into founding mothers. And so I was looking through it, and one of the ones that stuck out to me was Penelope Barker. Not anyone you've probably ever read about in your history books. This woman, at a time when women were not encouraged to, they definitely weren't in politics, didn't have a right to vote, really were kind of seen and not heard so much. She organized 50 other women, and they signed a resolution saying we are boycotting British tea and cloth, and they sent it to England.
That is amazing.
And put their real names down on paper. The men who did the Boston Tea Party hid behind disguises.
And they did it out loud.
They did it out loud, and hers has become known as the Edenton Tea Party.
I love that you all are offering this at the library. Hopefully you all take advantage of this and everything that they have to offer, which can be found on their website, peoriapubliclibrary.org. Ladies, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back after the break.